Welcome to the Angus Report, a news program for cattle producers.
This week's top headlines from American Angus Association headquarters in St. Joseph, Missouri include legislative action to watch this fall, such as immigration reform.
And a researcher who offers tips for improving cow efficiency in times of stress.
A South Dakota program that's showing participants the bigger picture. And we meet the Rathbuns in Eastern Washington and learn how they keep their family in production agriculture.
This is the Angus Report. Hello, I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Crystal Albers.
Our top news this week. Congress could weigh some important legislation this fall, including immigration reform. The issue is important to ranchers, especially those seeking border security, as well as other sectors requiring access to a legal workforce. Colin Woodall of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association discusses immigration law, its potential effect on the cattle business, and some of the key issues to watch this fall.
One of the big issues for us, especially as we go into the fall here, is trying to get some movement on an immigration reform bill. It's extremely important for this industry from two perspectives. The first perspective is to make sure that we have strong border protection provisions to ensure the safety of farmers and ranchers, especially along the southern border. When you look at our southern border with Mexico and the land in California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas, the majority of that land is owned by farmers and ranchers. So we need to make sure that the government just doesn't throw money at the problem like they are prone to do, that we actually have a plan that provides the safety so producers don't have to live in fear. The other angle is we need to make sure that immigration reform addresses the need for not only the cattle industry, but all of agriculture, to have access to a legal workforce. We are talking about an agricultural visa program that gives us access to the workers that we need, not only on farms and ranches, but also in feedlots and in the packing community. Our hope for an immigration package is to get it done by the end of 2013. But the problem is once we get into 2014, Congress and Washington, D.C. as a whole is very quickly going to shift gears and is going to be focused upon the midterm elections, the November 2014 elections.
Making money in a narrow margin industry requires a quality focus despite herd size. Unlocking that quality focus relies on data, says Jerry Shin of Performance Blenders. Shin analyzes and shares data with cattlemen who use the information to improve and capture premiums over cash market.
We have complete carcass data on every individual animal. We provide that information back to the individual producers so they can use that for selection purposes, breeding purposes. These cattle don't disappear and become a number. They are genetic packaged, and we feel that's very important for the producer to get that information back. We feel quality needs to be the number one thing in the middle of the bullseye for the producer to be shooting at. That's where the money is at, and that's where the consumer is at, and that's where the growth is at.
No matter what a beef producer does on a farm or a ranch, without consumers buying beef in a restaurant or in a grocery store, the chance for profit would not exist. Understanding the opportunities there are to influence consumer demand for beef is a key focus for the Beef Checkoff, as we learn in this report from Sharon Alseth.
What factors determine whether a consumer will choose to buy beef? Answering that question was the focus of a beef demand determinant study funded by the Beef Checkoff and conducted by economists at Purdue and Kansas State universities. The study provides insight into how consumers feel about beef.
We're trying to look at what beef demand determinants are 5 to 10 years out. So we're looking at what our consumers are wanting going forward. So we'll take that and we'll use that in advertising campaigns, we'll use it in promotional products and so forth.
The study showed consumer beef demand is influenced by product quality and price, but at the top of the list of demand influencers is beef safety.
To me, the primary key message is if we don't have a safe product and we don't have beef safety, none of the other drivers matter. So safety is priority number one, and after that, taste, tenderness, flavor come in very high.
Even with lower supplies and higher prices for beef, consumer demand has been holding strong, and the producers who volunteer their time to help lead the Beef Checkoff believe there's opportunity to continue growing. I'm Sharon Alseth reporting.
With an increase in corn production in recent years, the beef industry faces reduced acres available for grazing. Yet the trend has created some important feed resources, according to Terry Klopfenstein of the University of Nebraska. Researchers there recently completed a study that measures the nutritional and economic merits of feeding cows and calves in a drylot setting using distillers' grains and crop residue.
We've plowed up pasture and planted it to corn. So we're a little short on pasture. We need to grow the cow herd, but we really don't have grass. The drought has affected that a lot. So how do we rebuild this? One option is to actually put cows in the feedlot. So we've got cows in confinement 365 days a year, not just in confinement, but in a feedlot setting. Is it economical to confine for 365 days a year? I don't think so. The break even on those calves is just too high. But it raises some interesting possibilities. In fact, it raises the possibility of confining the cows in the summer, calving in summer or late summer, and then running the cows on corn stalks in the winter. So it's backwards from the way we did it in the past, where we would graze in the summer and confine cows in the winter and feed them hay. So what I'm talking about is a system where we would confine the cows in the summer because we're short on grass, graze corn stalks, which is very economical. We've got plenty of corn stalks because we're producing all this corn.
Klopfenstein says a cow-calf system where cattle are fed 6 months in confinement and 6 months on grazing stalks is competitive with conventional systems. More from the Nebraska study is available at beef.unl.edu. We go now to Jenna McCrell with a look at some of the week's other headlines you may have missed.
Thanks, Crystal. An alliance of cattlemen representing Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United States recently signed a letter announcing their support for a comprehensive Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement. The group calls for science-based trade standards and the elimination of tariffs and market barriers to global beef trade. The cattlemen are part of the Five Nations Beef Alliance, which hosted its annual conference last month in Australia. Reducing food waste is another important aspect of feeding an increasing population. A study recently reported that nearly 90% of Americans are confused by expiration or sell-by dates, and as a result are needlessly tossing billions of pounds of food each year. That's according to the Natural Resources Defense Council and Harvard Law School's Food Law and Policy Clinic. And the growing trend continues as more and more land is converted for crop production. Between 2011 and 2012, more than 398,000 acres, an area roughly the size of Houston, Texas, of grasslands, forest, and other lands were converted to cropland. And that's according to the USDA Farm Service Agency. And that's what's happening this week in cattle news. For the Angus Report, I'm Jenna McCrell.
When the Angus Report returns, how a South Dakota program is giving young producers in the state the bigger picture of beef production.
And finally, we'll meet Greg and Jen Rathbun of Moses Lake, Washington, and talk about how Angus beef ensures a future for the next generation on the land.
Visit angus.org to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.
The Angus Report is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. Why not prevent respiratory disease before it steals from your bottom line? Vista Once protects your calves with the most complete respiratory disease coverage available. And Vision Blackleg vaccines can add 14 pounds per calf at weaning. Contact your veterinarian or animal health supplier today.
What's one more calf worth? You make a big-time investment in genetic improvement, so why not get more calves? It starts with VitaFerm Conceptate with the AmaFerm Advantage for just 2 to 4 cents more a day. Feeding VitaFerm Conceptate before breeding season gives your cows the nutrition they need for improved conception rates. Plus, AmaFerm enhances digestion of feed, improving body condition, a critical component to fertility. So with cattle prices as high as they've ever been, what's one more calf worth? A lot. VitaFerm Conceptate. This stuff is good. Learn more at vitafirm.com.
We stand for what we believe in. We believe in you. It's more than a job. It's your way of life. Who you are, where you live, and what you do. The way you treat your cattle, your family, your employees, and your neighbors. The water you drink, the air you breathe, and the ground you walk on. What you do every day gives families something to gather around every night. It's about doing what's right for your cattle, your land, your community, and your business. It's your livelihood, and it means as much to us as it does to you. We all believe in responsible beef. Let's stand together at responsiblebeef.com.
Horn flies cost cattle producers nearly $1 billion a year. They interrupt grazing, cause loss of blood, and impact your bottom line. By incorporating Alticid IGR into your supplement program, you can prevent the emergence of adult horn flies. Alticid IGR will significantly reduce stress on your cattle. For pennies a day, you can control the most costly parasite and increase your profitability. Contact your feed supplier to incorporate Alticid IGR today.
Join the team, the Beef Quality Assurance Team. Getting BQA certified shows you're committed to practices that produce the highest quality beef in the world. And by visiting bqa.org, you can take the online certification course at a time that fits your schedule and from the comfort of your home or office. You'll also find lots of helpful tips on improving animal health and animal handling practices. Get certified, BQA certified, because it's about doing the right thing. Visit bqa.org today and become a member of the BQA team.
Join 44 Farms October 26th for our annual fall sale in Cameron, Texas. The sale begins at noon and features 225 balanced trait bulls, 10 featured females including the #1 proven ribeye female in the breed, 50 open fall yearling heifers from the heart of the 44 Farms replacement herd, and 40 fall calving cows, plus an outstanding set of bulls and females bred by the new 44 herd sire Capitalist. Call or email for more details or watch for the fall sale book in the October Angus Journal. Join us at the farm on October 26th in Cameron, Texas. 44 Farms, your trusted source for balanced Angus genetics.